All right, welcome into the podcast. I'm Brett.
I'm Dorian.
And this is our Thursday throwback Bourne edition, starting with the Bourne identity.
Yeah, no, good movie.
Indeed.
So, so just kind of breaking into it. What were your first impressions, or can you even recall the first time you watched this movie?
I cannot recall. I remember loving it, and that's about it. I don't remember if it was I don't think it was at the theater. I have no idea, to be honest. No idea. Might have been at the theater. I don't know.
All right. Yeah,
that was like 18 years ago. So
yeah, no, it's been a minute. But yeah, I remember first time I watched this movie. I think it was at your house. We were kind of prepping for, I think the new Jason Bourne movie, which was just called Jason Bourne.
The Letdown.
Yeah, the Letdown movie. Yeah, the one that came in or came out, I should say. I think it was like 2015, 2016, somewhere around there.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, so up to that point, like I didn't watch any of the Bourne movies at all. Like I saw like maybe little bits and pieces or like fight scenes from like Ultimatum, but yeah, I haven't watched them. So as I watched it for the first time, I'm just thinking, wow, okay, I missed out on stuff. I mean, that's But how has the rewatch changed how you feel about the movie here? I mean, does it hold up? Are there things that you're not crazy about, or?
I think the movie has aged pretty well. Rewatching it, now that we have movies like John Wick and like these over-the-top action movies, it seems like it's less action-packed than I remember, but still amazing. Like it doesn't change how I feel about the movie. It's just like not as fast-paced. Like it's fast-paced. It's not action fast-paced like John Wick is. Over-the-top action, like constantly moving. This movie's constantly moving. It's just not necessarily like a fight scene or something.
Yeah, no, like I think one of the big differences between this movie and like a John Wick movie is you have like in a John Wick movie, there could be like about maybe no less than 10 minutes, of like no non-action happening.
Right.
Like they have like a 10-minute window almost to a certain point where there has to be like something happening that's action related. And then, you might break again for another 10 minutes after that. But then, yeah, I mean, you just make sure that there's action happening throughout the entire movie. This one kind of had more of like kind of a handful of action scenes, but they made sure that they left an impression on it. But
totally.
Yeah. No, I think, in my opinion, this movie holds up pretty well. I think the action is somewhat dwarfed by John Wick, kind of like how we talked about, where there's not that consistency of action like there is. But I definitely think the writing is better than like, what you would see typically in a John Wick movie, because John Wick's storyline, pretty simple for the most part here. I mean, revenge mission, or you're going after somebody who's, screwed you over, or even trying to flee a whole bunch of assassins that are trying to kill you. I mean, by and large, the premise and the writing and all that for John Wick movies are pretty simple for the most part. But yeah, I mean, I think the writing is better, and the action, I would say, is more realistic for sure.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
not over the top. Definitely something someone could do. So yeah, I liked it a lot. Let's talk about the characters in this movie franchise, because we're going to be watching not just Bourne Identity, but we're going to watch Bourne Supremacy and Bourne Ultimatum to follow. We won't be watching the Jeremy Renner or the later one. We're just going to stick to the original trilogy.
Yeah, the good movies.
Yeah. So Jason Bourne.
Yeah.
What's your like? So I guess do you want to talk with your synopsis of like who Jason Bourne is, like what you think about the character?
I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, obviously, government spy operative with amnesia. Don't know a whole lot about him. Pretty much I think the big intrigue and the big draw to this movie is, trying to uncover like, okay, who is Matt Damon's character? Who is Jason Bourne?
Yeah.
And no, I think it kind of strings you along, because at first it seems like, okay, so this guy has 2 bullet holes in him just floating in the water.
Yep.
And I think it was the what Atlantic Ocean, or I don't know,
I'm
one
not
of those
sure.
one of those big bodies of water that I just didn't pay attention to the first 5 minutes of the movie. But uh, yeah, so yeah, I mean, basically knows like has a lot of tricks of the trade, like skills. Like he's able to speak languages that he had no idea he could speak. He can, do karate.
Karate. Yep.
Yeah. Uh, he can. He knows how to handle a gun. He knows how to do all these things. But I mean, he just woke up and became a baller, which you know, sounds like he won the lottery for like any
I mean,
average
yeah,
person here.
yeah. He's just not remembering how he got there. But yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
exactly. Um, yeah, no, I think yeah, I think he is the ultimate libertarian just because he goes through a whole bunch of crap just to have the government leave him alone. That's basically what these movies are.
Not only leave him alone, but try to hunt him down and kill him. Like,
Yeah,
so anyway, yeah. So Jason Bourne obviously doesn't know who he is. You know, kind of what gets the character moving in this movie is the doctor who finds him because they're on like this fishing boat.
which real quick,
Yeah.
I mean, I really appreciate that, whatever country that they're in, that the fishing boat regulation requires that they have a doctor on board at all times here.
They probably have to have some kind of medic, I would think, just because
I,
of how dangerous the job is.
I mean, a medic or like somebody who has like, a decent amount of like first aid skill or like some type of EMT or EMS
Yeah.
personnel,
Not like a straight up
but
surgeon.
but a straight up surgeon,
Yeah. But
eh,
they find a laser pointer in his hip basically that would, that's a plot device obviously, but it kind of gets him started on his journey to figure out who he is.
yeah,
Um so I thought it was a cool device to further the plot, but the question remains with Jason Bourne is like, who are you? What's your
mhm.
name? Uh the bench scene,
Oh
I
yeah,
think
when
that's
he's
when we first get introduced to like how OP Jason Bourne actually is when he takes down those cops out of nowhere. It's like muscle memory for him. Kind
yeah,
of like you're talking, like he can speak pretty much any language that he's come into contact with thus far.
yeah,
He's the calmest dude around.
yeah,
Never any facial expressions really. He's
mhm,
just kind of like very calm, knows what to do.
yeah,
Uh, the only thing I find kind of questionable about his character is he's very trusting of this Marie girl.
yeah.
No idea why.
Probably just because he has no choice to trust
Anyone?
somebody, and plus,
Yeah, I would have just
I
stolen
mean,
her car.
well, right. But as a government agent and all that, like you would have stolen, like, yeah, theoretically, you would have stolen the lady's car here and just took off here, or just all that stuff. But when you don't have your memory, you're kind of like, okay, I don't know what's going on. I just need a bone thrown to me here or something.
Sure. He's also a barber.
Yeah. Which so
He
on
cuts
that
that girl's
note,
hair
yeah.
for whatever reason.
So
Doesn't
so
change her hair color. Doesn't change his hair color. Doesn't
so
change
yes.
their appearance. Period.
Yeah, so I mean, well, I mean, he definitely washes the dye that she had in her hair, so it's like a darker and like made it shorter. So I mean, definitely altered her appearance a little bit. But I
Not
like
enough.
how, but I like how he did literally nothing to alter his appearance at all
No.
whatsoever. He's just like
Not any frosted tips or anything.
no frosted tips, no face tattoo, nothing.
Yeah. Frosted tips would have been the way to go. It was 2002 when this movie was made. So,
It was, yeah. So I mean, get with the times.
yep. But let's talk about a couple other people. Now, I have code names for all these people. I don't remember their names. The old dude, he's suspicious
Are you talking about the guy who's over the head of the
of Treadstone. Yeah,
Treadstone? Yeah,
the old dude, where at the end there's some stuff that goes down, and you're
okay,
like,
yeah,
whoa.
yeah.
Um. Anyway, he's just suspicious. The Treadstone director,
Mhm.
also a suspicious character.
Oh yeah.
You don't
Well,
know a
he's a
lot
G-
about these people.
yeah, no, he's a G man here. Yeah.
So, kind of what we know about the Treadstone director, or just Treadstone in general, like the people coming from it,
Hmm.
are they want Bourne in a body bag by sundown.
Hmm.
Uh, so wasn't he their guy though? Like that's still kind of the question I don't get is like why they were trying to track him down unless they thought he went rogue or something like that or he
Well,
turned.
and that's how I interpreted it, just because you get sent out on a mission to kill a target. Not only do you not kill the target, but it turns out that you're alive and you cut off all communication with your agency here. I mean, if I was in the director's shoes, I'd be like, yeah, no, the guy went rogue here. He's showing up alive. He's not communicating with us.
Sure.
My assumption would be he went rogue.
Yeah. I like the line that he uses. He's like, I don't send you to kill people. I send you to be invisible.
Yeah,
Because he's like, anyone could kill someone, but you're a ghost basically. Like you don't
yeah,
exist, which he doesn't really, because he doesn't even know his aliases, because he's like, so I am Jason Bourne, because we'll talk about the scenes later, but basically, the laser pointer in his hip refers him to a
a bank.
like a a security box at a bank, which is like super over the top security. Like I was
Mhm.
wondering, I was like, are banks like this in places? Like I don't think there would be a bank like this, but
Maybe for
maybe.
like rich people or something like that here.
Maybe, yeah. So he's got like a bunch of passports, a gun, all this different stuff in his lockbox. And so he sees all these different identities, doesn't really know which one's the real one. So he sticks with Jason Bourne.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, that's the first one that he comes across here. So he just says, "Okay, that's my name, I guess," and then just goes from there.
well, then he starts investigating like his other lives, if you will. Like John Michael Caine's kind of the story arc we follow for a little bit.
Hmm.
Um, that's one of his aliases. But anyway, let's talk about some of the other characters. Nikki, or not Nikki, Marie, the chick,
Yeah,
the person who doesn't really need to be in the movie but is. She's supposed. Is she like? I don't understand why she was in the American embassy at all.
yeah. I'm not entirely sure what was going on there. I don't know if she was trying to get like a visa or a passport to go to America. I mean, because
Why would
she's
she be in the
obvious.
American embassy though? That's
I
what I
don't
don't
know.
get. I
I
thought that
don't
was for
know.
American citizens. I don't know a lot about embassies, but
Yeah.
it was a weird plot device, because I'm like, so the way we meet her, she's in the embassy, she's getting mad because they're not giving her a visa or something like that, for because she's a student apparently,
Hmm.
don't know where, or maybe she's trying to be a student in America. We don't know. She definitely has a German accent.
Yeah. No,
Uh,
she does, and she curses in German a lot. So I
yeah,
mean, yeah,
Scheisse.
yeah, exactly.
Um, But I just don't get it. If maybe she was trying to do an American accent at first, and they're like, this isn't working.
Yeah,
Let's
I
do
don't know.
German.
Yeah,
Let's just stick with German.
yeah. I'm not entirely sure. Has she been? Has the actress been in anything else
Probably
recently,
not, because she wasn't
or like at
good.
all? Okay.
Yeah, she
Yeah, I
wasn't a
don't
good
know.
actress in my opinion, but she has a very 2002 haircut and color.
She does. Yeah.
Um, she likes strange dudes who give her lots of money,
I
which,
mean, there are certain professions that she would thrive in if that's her
oh yeah,
mo here. Just
oh yeah,
saying. I mean, I'll let you guys figure that one out.
yeah, yep. She talks way too much, and she does allude to that in the car.
Yeah,
And
she
she
does.
wants to go on the run. She just wants to. She
Yeah,
wants to
that.
run from the government, and I'm like,
I mean,
okay, okay,
the the average person, honestly, yeah, which is who she is supposed to be. I don't think the average person would do that. They'd be like,
no,
"No, I'm out,"
yeah,
Like I think I think they could have written that whole character motivation a little bit better. Like if they
it's yeah,
if,
especially the scene where he literally gives her, he's like, I'll give you 10 grand now and 10 grand later, or
yeah,
whatever it was,
yeah.
and he throws her the money, or yeah, he throws her the money, and then the cops go by, and he turns around like he's on the run. She knows something's up, and she's still like, well, I still need the money, so this guy's probably wanted for murder or something, but I'm just
Yeah.
gonna take him along for the ride.
Which I mean, just quick PSA. If there's a dude that looks like he's trying to avoid the cops
Yeah,
and he's offering you like insane amounts of money to just do like a simple task like driving him somewhere,
don't do it.
people don't do it. No.
Yeah,
I mean, that's just general good safe practice here in my opinion.
totally.
Just don't do it. But then again, we wouldn't have much of a movie here, so
No, we wouldn't.
that wouldn't be great. But
No.
anyhow,
Then we have Nikki, who's kind of the tech Treadstone agent,
yeah.
who isn't really a main character until the later movies, but definitely wanted to talk about her in this movie. Obviously, she's at a safe house in Paris. All these people are in Paris, apparently.
Yeah.
And so they're working for an organization called Treadstone. which is kind of a deep cover like special forces operation, part of the CIA. Um, and so we still don't know a lot about it, and that's kind of the question left, kind of for us is like Jason finds out like this organization is called Treadstone, and they're like, wait, what's Treadstone? What is this thing?
Yeah.
And so that's kind of the question we're left with. But let's talk about some off the chain scenes.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a
Which I mean,
lot of sweet scenes in this movie.
no, I would say these are the highlights and the foundation that these
It's
movies
the
are
bread
built
and
on.
butter.
It's the
Yeah.
bread and butter. Yeah.
So first up, I already asked this question, but like, are banks like these? Are there banks that are this secure? Maybe. I think it was interesting, though. He had to go through all that to get his belongings, but
Yeah.
usually you just have a key and an ID.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's like this is some pretty high on the Ritz bank here. So I mean,
I mean, I have a security deposit box, but it's not that high tech.
yeah. No, I mean, I'm not in that tax bracket, so I wouldn't know. But
It's not too expensive to have one of them if you want
but
one of them.
well, I'm just talking about like
Oh,
the kind of
for
it.
Jason.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So the red bag scene, the reason I call it the red bag scene, that's where he goes into and gets, kind of tries to escape uh from the embassy. Because
Yeah.
he grabs that red bag that's, I guess, a trash bag or something. I don't know. It has a drawstring and stuff on it, very convenient for what he needs. Um but yeah, he dumps all his stuff into it, which includes like all his passports, all his cash, all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's a really cool scene. And then I love the part where he nut uppercuts someone on the stairs and drops him and just keeps walking.
Yeah, no, he gets his Johnny Cage on here.
Oh, big time, big time.
Yeah. But yeah, no, well, this is like, I mean, the park bench, yeah, we do get to see him actually.
Yeah, that's where his powers come from.
Yeah,
That's
like
where we first see his powers.
we get to see like a little glimpse of it. This is us seeing him like in full force here, This is
Totally.
like full force Jason Bourne saying like, okay, no, this isn't just a guy who just knows karate, like, and just and can just handle a couple of guys. This is a guy who, like, if stuff hits the fan, he's like the guy who walks through the eye of a hurricane and is just like, yeah, whatever, and knows exactly what to do.
Right.
But
Yeah.
but no, I mean, uh, like I really like how uh, he gets his Assassin's Creed on, like at the end of the whole scene where he's literally like scaling, like the fixtures and the crevices of like the building in order to escape and all that. I mean,
Oh yeah,
really
big time.
it's a really great scene where he gets to show his like fighting prowess and his ingenuity.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next up. Oh, so I wrote a little something in here, but this movie is very similar to like a video game. So and there's like a scene where they show the other agents that are being activated to kind of take down Jason Bourne once they think he's rogue.
Yeah.
And I would equate these to boss fights. So boss
Yeah.
fight number 1 is the apartment fight.
Rich, real quick, now that you said that, I've really just came up with a great idea for a t-shirt design. You take the Mega Man boss select screen, put Jason Bourne in the middle, and then all the
Oh
Asian bosses
gosh, we
around.
should make that.
That would be amazing, wouldn't it?
That would be awesome. Yeah.
So
So yeah, apartment. The boss fight 1 is in the apartment scene, the apartment fight. If you guys are familiar with that, they're
yeah,
at his apartment in Paris. It starts off like an 80s action movie.
yeah,
Some dude. So Jason kind of uses the force, I guess, and senses that someone's somewhere around their apartment. Like
yeah. He's got sixth
something's
sense about
off.
him. Yeah,
Yeah. So he starts out, it's like an 80s action movie with the villain kind of like he's on a rope and
yeah.
kind of he just kicks through, swings
With
through
with a
with a
Uzi,
machine gun. Yeah. Shooting
just
everywhere.
shooting.
He's not like, and I refer back to like the quote of the Treadstone director guy where he's like, I don't pay you to just go
You
kill people. I pay you to be
kill.
silent, to be
Yeah,
invisible.
that guy. I guess didn't get the memo.
Nah. But anyway, so yeah, he fights him, and I love how he basically is trying to find something to fight him with, and he grabs a pen and he just starts stabbing him with it, basically, like
Yeah.
really tactically, and
Yeah.
then ends up breaking his arm through the fight. Then the guy commits suicide by the end of the fight because I don't know why, but he does. He doesn't try to get away. He just jumps over the railing and dies.
My guess is just that's just like the
Protocol.
protocol. Yeah, if like you get to a point where you cannot, eliminate your target, or you can't escape or anything of that sort, or that nature, you just off yourself basically.
Yeah, probably.
But no, no, I think this is probably my favorite fight in the movie here. I mean,
Yeah,
it's just
same
like
here.
it's just very visceral, just Jason Bourne just, doing like the whole kind of MacGyver thing, saying like, "Oh, I'll just make do with what I got, lying around here and stuff." And then yeah, I mean, you get to see that in like the Ultimatum movie where he has like the book and all
Oh,
that.
the book scene's great.
Yeah. But yeah, no, really solid scene. Yeah, no, it's just really good.
Yep. All right. Boss fight number 2. This
Mhm.
one's a little bit different than the first fight, obviously, or the first
Yeah.
few fights. But like, as far as the agents go, they're at is it her stepbrother's house? I guess. I think it's her
Uh,
stepbrother.
yeah,
Um,
I don't
Marie's
know.
stepbrother. And I can't remember his name, but basically, the other house, he has 2 little girls with him, and
He
their
has
dog
like
doesn't.
a farm setup type of deal
Yeah, yeah,
going
he's got a
on.
little
Yeah.
land. Kind of a little compound, honestly. And basically, Jason and Marie put this guy's life in danger. They didn't think he'd be there, um, for reasons I don't know. That's his
Yeah.
house, so I'm like, why wouldn't he be there? The dog doesn't
Yeah.
come back, so Jason suspects something. I'm, the agent took him out to not alert them.
Yeah.
Um, so then Jason knows what's up. He finds a gun, a shotgun. Then he creates diversions, and he blows up a propane tank, and there's a big old smoke cloud that lets him kind of get into the woods,
Yeah.
track him down basically, and you kind of just basically trick him basically. um Kind of shows him outsmarting this other agent, not necessarily just fighting hand to hand combat or gun to
Yeah.
gun, and then ends up killing him, trying to get answers for like what's going on. And they have like this conversation basically before he dies, and kind of gives him a little insight into what's going on, maybe, like, um but then yeah, I mean, uh then he's kind of left with a decision to kind of go after uh the Treadstone director, basically.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. No, I mean, now one question I do have about that boss fight in particular. So he shoots the shotgun in the air when they're out in the field and all that, and he has like all the ducks fly up and all around. What was that like supposed to do? I'm not entirely sure what he was going for with that. Was that just like
Probably just distraction.
okay,
um I don't know. I'm not a field operative, but I'm guessing it was a
sure,
distraction. Especially in that kind of setting, the he probably wouldn't know where the shotgun shot came from
mm,
because of the echoing.
sure, yeah,
So probably just like a loud thing to give him a chance to get a little bit closer to him.
yeah,
With a like again, kind of like a maybe they'd fly in his view because Jason doesn't know where he's at really either.
yeah,
He's trying to figure that out, and so that kind of maybe that I don't know, that could have helped him, because they would have maybe flying around him, not landed on him.
Well, yeah, and that's what I was that was what I was thinking is like, okay, he's gonna shoot the gun, they're gonna fly off, circle around, come back and land, and they're not gonna land in the area that he's at, and that's gonna tell him
Yeah,
where
I'm
he
guessing that's what he
is.
did. Yeah, I'm
But
guessing that was the reason.
yeah, but I don't even remember them like actually like flying back down and like into the field and whatnot here. But I don't know,
Yeah, I
whatever.
don't know. Just a cool scene.
Yeah,
Um,
no, it is a cool scene.
but then Bourne kind of turns the tables on and kind of sneaks into uh the safe house in Paris that the tech girl Nikki's
Yeah,
at, which
yeah, which
all of them are at this point.
yeah, where he gets to get his Batman on in that scene here.
He
He's
does.
like
He kind of reverses the roles. He's the one hunting them now.
yeah, he climbs the side of the building, cuts the
Cuts the
lights and
power.
the phone lines and all that. It's
Hmm.
great.
Yeah, so kind of what's done to him, he does, throughout the movies, he does to Treadstone people. So this is kind of the final boss fight slash plot twist, I guess. But what I have written down is ride 'em, cowboy.
Yeah. I mean
Because
that's the shot that makes the whole scene here.
which basically he takes out a guy and he gets stuck on this. There's like this big stairwell, and some guys are shooting up at him, and he basically uses his body and holds on to him and falls and shoots the guy pretty much point blank, but in the air,
Yeah, as
and
he's falling. Yeah.
bounces off the fat guy that and breaks his fall.
Yeah, which looking at that fall,
No, he would be
prob-
dead for sure.
probably shouldn't have survived that fall. I mean,
Yeah.
just saying because I mean he was like what probably about at least 8 stories up, like at
Oh
least I want
yeah,
to say
yeah. No, it's not a. I mean, he's for sure breaking both arms and probably his back. Like
yeah yeah he's not just walking away like he does in the next scene here, but
no, he
yeah
gets up and walks away. It's very John Wick esque.
yeah
But yeah. So he does that. He takes out the guys inside. Now we're thinking he's leaving the building, and he's kind of. We see like this far away shot of this guy hobbling. Now, final boss fight's about to happen. Meaning, because we saw earlier that they activated 3 operatives to take down Jason.
yeah
And we haven't seen the third one yet until now. He's waiting in a car and he sees this shadowy figure approaching. We're guessing it's Jason Bourne, and he pulls out his gun, and it turns out it's the Treadstone director, and he kills him
yeah
instead,
yeah
which is
yeah
kind of the
the
big plot twist because now you're like, wait, what's going on?
well yeah because up to this point the old guy, he kind of seemed like he was like out of the loop on the
Yeah, he
whole
didn't know what
Treadstone
was
thing.
going on.
Like the director was like he was trying to kind of keep him in the dark and just say, hey, things are being handled, you don't need to know about like the details of our operation, all this
Yeah,
stuff. And then it seemed and now it seems like okay, the old guy, which I'm assuming he's a congressman of some sort because he does go before like that board or
yeah,
judiciary committee or whatever it was at the end, saying like, yeah, Treadstone has been shut down. We're gonna look into some different stuff, yada yada
Black
yada.
Blackbriar is
Yeah,
the organization he brings up at the end, which is alluding to the next movie,
right,
which is basically just Treadstone 2.0.
right. So
Um,
so yeah, I mean, it seems like either one of two things happen. I mean, granted, I'd have to watch the next movie to really tell you, but just from the viewing this movie, either he thinks that the director is too much of a liability now, just given the amount of failure that they had, with trying to kill kill their initial target with Jason Bourne at the beginning of the movie, and then also just the whole falling out with Jason Bourne here. He's like, okay, like you know too much, you no longer used to us. We just need to get you out of here, or he's just been pulling the strings the entire time. One of the two.
yeah, totally. I think it's both probably.
Yeah.
I think he's probably been pulling the strings and been ignorant to it, knowing what's going on. Doesn't want it to come back on him, so he takes out. I mean, I don't know to what level these guys are actual shadows, like ghosts, basically. Like maybe they're, because killing him obviously brings in other people into the situation.
No, it does. Yeah.
And so we'll figure that out later. But yeah, I think it was just kind of a shady thing for him to do. I think he just didn't want this to be kind of his doing, like failing. So he just killed the next guy under him, being like, "Oh yeah, it
Yeah.
was his fault."
Yeah.
He's dead now, though, so it's fine.
And he's not allowed to testify against me. So there's that.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, let's get into what we liked about this movie.
Okay. Yeah, I liked everything. I really like the realism, the action. Acting is great, except for Marie, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And spoiler alert, I'm really glad they kill her off in the beginning of the next movie.
So I know we talked about this a little bit before the podcast started recording, but I guess I'll just bring it up just so our audience can get in on the conversation. Uh, it seems like that this movie initially was supposed to be standalone because they have her in as the character. They have her, essentially get the storybook ending at the end of this movie,
Yeah.
and then immediately they kill her off in the next movie as like a way of saying like, yeah, we can't tell the story we want to tell if she's running around and involved.
Yeah. No, I think it was probably the studio kind of seeing how people would react to the movie. This is based off of Robert Ludlum's run of Bourne books. There's a whole book series by Robert Ludlum. So if you're interested, you could check those out. But yeah, I think it was really the studio testing the waters, and then it was successful, obviously. So they made a few more.
Gotcha.
Um, I did not like. I'll talk about that later and what I didn't like, I guess. But yeah, I think it was probably supposed to be. I don't know because with the title like the Bourne uh, identity,
Hmm.
like you would think that it would lead into other movies. Like why not just call it Jason Bourne? Like or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe they were just testing the waters, and it was a good bookend, I guess, for what they
Hmm.
were going for. But it's not what it seems.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. No. But getting into what I liked about this movie, the premise of the movie pretty cool. Spy with amnesia.
Yeah,
The
totally.
the combat is, I think, the highlight of these movies. It's fast. It's visceral. I really like the grounded approach that they take to the fight scenes. It's not like John Wick where you're fighting 50 guys at once here, and like
Right. Yeah, it's
you're
it's
and you're
definitely
and
more
you're
realistic.
and you're all you're walking out with is like a paper cut basically.
Yeah.
But it's also like I, light on special effects, and matter of fact I don't know if there were even like any special effects at all here. Everything seemed pretty practical for the most part here.
Yeah, it looked like it was mostly all practical effects, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, but also I really like how they show that Jason Bourne, even like before he lost his memory, he had a conscience, but without it making it cheesy at all. Here, like it just I don't know. I just feel like they really just put it in there as a subtle way or a subtle uh, nod to like saying like, hey, this is not just like a cold, ruthless killer. He's not going to kill this guy in front of his kids or accidentally like kill the kids in the process of killing this guy here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. Yeah, I do like that about him too. He's very humanized, even though he's a killing machine.
Yeah, exactly. So let's get into what we didn't like.
Yeah, for me, I talked about it. The Marie chick. I don't like the ending. How it ended on kind of a lighter tone. I think it would have been better off if they probably maybe just had her like where she was, and then he was like I don't know somewhere else. I don't really know how I would end it to be honest.
I
Or
mean,
maybe with
more
Jason Bourne gone. Like they could have just ended it with that scene in the um
in Paris and all that.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. Or
Yeah,
even
more
just him walking into town somewhere else where he's off the grid.
yeah, more of a cliffhanger kind of thing
Totally.
here. Yeah.
I think the romance is really uncomfortable in this movie and unnecessary.
Yeah. No, I would agree with that. I mean, I think it develops like way too quick. If it if it developed like say like at the end of the movie or something like that, I'd probably be like, okay, they went through a lot of stuff together. I guess they're more attached now. But it's like almost like what halfway through the movie when they start becoming romantically
Yeah,
involved and all
pretty
that. Yeah,
much. Pretty
and
much.
even then, it's like a very like on off relationship here because there are
Yeah.
parts where like she realizes that oh yeah, this strange man I uh, that I've kind of fell in love with and don't really know a whole lot about. Oh, he might be an assassin. Well,
Yeah.
that kind of might dampen my opinion on him a little bit.
But oh
But
well.
oh well.
Yeah. No, I think that there's a plot hole. Um Hotels would not give you info if you stayed there or not.
Oh, are you talking about that one part where Marie just says, "Oh, I'm the personal assistant to blah blah blah
Yeah,
here,"
or
and
even when Jason's calling those hotels and asking, "Hey, did John Michael Caine stay here? Did a John Michael Caine stay here in the last couple of
no,
days?" And they're like, "Let me check." They're not going to tell you that anyway. That's a
no,
plot hole.
not without like any type of like authorization identification, something
Or
that like
if you're a
yeah,
cop and you're like, "Yeah, this person died. We need to know if they stayed here or not."
right,
Like their
yeah,
their murder's under investigation or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
So
yeah.
anyway, let's talk
Uh,
about. Oh, go ahead. Yeah, what are your thoughts? What didn't you like?
Well, some of the things that kind of took me out of the movie a little bit was like some of the dated sound effects when they're fighting each other, like some of the punch scenes and all that. I feel like are super generic, like you find them in like video games or just like cartoons, like nowadays here.
Totally.
Uh, you know, some quick cuts in those action scenes. You know, I'm not a big fan of quick cuts. I feel like if you can capture the scene, you know, on camera for as long as possible, that's typically the best way to do it, and that's usually the more impressive way to do it, in my opinion. And then also there's that one scene where he's creeping hard in those kids' room that is when they stay at his stepbrother's house
Oh
or
yeah.
Marie's stepbrother's
Yeah.
house. He's just in the room watching over them, standing over their bed while they're asleep, just watching them while they sleep. And I mean, I
Yeah.
get it. He's kind of trying to like,
Protect
you
them.
know,
Shows
protect them,
humanity.
show his humanity, but it's like, okay, well, you know, I mean, this is what serial killers and other
Yeah.
types of unsavory people do too. I don't
True,
think this is
true.
necessarily the route you want to go here,
No.
buddy.
No, no,
But
no.
yeah.
All right, well, let's talk about our final thoughts, and we'll start with you.
So I think this is a very solid movie, and it's definitely something that you see a lot of influence in, like the James Bond movies before Jason Bourne came out. You know, they were still kind of like their cheesy '60s, like very gadget over the top focus. But I think like Daniel Craig Bond learned a lot from the Jason Bourne movies, as well as John
Yeah.
Wick too.
Yeah, totally. Both of them.
I think there's definitely clear lines of inspiration that you can trace back to the Bourne trilogy. Um, and I think one of the things I do like about this movie in particular, it doesn't overcomplicate the plot. I feel like a lot of spy thrillers do that. This kind of keeps it simple for the layman. And no, I think it's a good movie. And I'm actually eager to watch Bourne Supremacy because this will be the first time I've actually been watching it. So, yeah.
Sweet, dude. Yeah. So overall, for me, great movie. Favorite spy thriller for sure.
Hmm.
If you haven't seen this movie, you have to. And bottom line in this movie, if the government wants you dead, you dead.
Yeah. I mean,
So
unless your name is Jason
Jason
Bourne,
Bourne.
basically.
So before we wrap, I kind of want to ask a question more to our audience and also us, I guess. But
Yeah.
what would you do if you woke up in Jason Bourne's situation? Maybe you just wake up basically that whole dream, basically of waking up one day and having these, abilities you didn't know you had, or having this life. I think this would be like a really funny prank to pull on someone. I don't know how you would, but it kind of reminded me of the episode where Dwight and Jim are, I think, in Florida, in
Yeah,
Tallahassee
yeah,
for
yeah.
the training or whatever.
Yeah, they're staying at
And
the hotel and all
and
that.
Jim kind of makes Dwight think that he killed Jim, like, and he leaves like this like
Fake
elaborate thing in
murder
this
scene,
big
yeah.
murder scene. Yeah. Anyway, I think it's pretty cool. Go ahead and hit up our social medias and maybe we'll be asking this in the next week or so. What would you do if you're in Jason Bourne's situation? What would you do,
Yeah.
Dorian?
Oh gosh. So okay, let's get some specifics on this. So
Okay,
I have no memory, right?
you have no memory.
But I have like a sweet karate skills, can speak any language and just do a whole bunch of stuff, right? And
Yeah,
just have a mysterious past. Gosh, I don't know, man. I mean, it's like how do you answer that question like when you have no idea like what your state of mind's going to be like or like how you're going to perceive things because it's going to be like how much of you is gone when you have
totally.
amnesia. Yeah.
Well, let's
So
let's kind of let's kind of alter the question, I guess. What if you woke up tomorrow and you could do all the things Jason Bourne could do,
oh
and you only
gosh.
remember what you've been doing lately?
Um I don't know, go clubbing. I mean
Yeah, I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
I don't know what I would do either, to be honest. I'd probably
I
just
mean
continue to live life and
I mean maybe
have it.
like maybe uh just have like my um like military blockade in my house or military armory or something like that just in case like somebody comes knocking. I don't know.
Yeah, totally.
It's a tough question
It
to
is. It
answer, I
is. I think
guess,
it's a
but
cool
yeah.
question. I think we'll get a lot of creative answers on it, but
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I honestly would probably want to know who I was and what I was doing and why I can do the things I can do.
Sure.
You
No,
know.
I mean that makes sense here for sure. I mean,
Now, how I
heck,
go about that, I
they
have
made
no
it.
idea.
They made an entire movie about that.
They made a lot of movies about that.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. Okay. So thank you guys for listening. We greatly appreciate it. Check us out on our social media platforms. Also, head over to Apple Podcasts and leave us a review, rate it, hit us with that 5-star, if you will. But it helps us out a great deal. Have an awesome week. And remember, everyone's learned about something.